but I still think that this is the best expansion, and I still think this is probably the must of the 2 expansions to get. Hi everyone, welcome to another Beyond the Base Game video. We're looking at the Raiders of the North Sea expansions this week, and I know what some of you are saying. Anachrony Fractures of Time, where the hell is it?
Stupid fat hobbit.
It's like, I will get to that one at some point. I know it's been heavily requested, but I've got to get the game to the table as well as relearn all those new rules, and I've had a lot of stuff to do with the whole Vital Lacerda live stream I did and doing other review videos, so I'm going to get to it. Don't worry, it's coming. So I will try and get to it in focus after I'm done with these Raiders expansions, but for now, this one's a bit more fresh in my mind, and this was also heavily requested. So what is this? This came with 2 expansions, and Raiders of the North Sea is one of my favourite games I've got in my collection, although I do prefer West Kingdom, Architects and Viscounts to Raiders, but still, I think this is still a solid game. It's the one of the North Sea trilogy from Garphill Games that I do really enjoy. I wasn't a big fan of the other 2, I didn't dislike them, I just thought they were kind of meh, I wasn't too fussed. But I really latched on to North Sea. But it really did need some expansions, I thought. I thought this is a good game, it's got a good foundation, but I need more content, I need more to do, I need more options. And so 2 expansions came out, and as you can see, I have the collector box storage set to actually keep everything in there. So yes, I own both expansions, and yes, I like them both. The question is, which order should you get them in? Which are better than others? Are there still some flaws in the game? Well, that's what this series will tell you this week. So this is Hall of Heroes. This is the first expansion you can get, and in my opinion, the best of the 2. It doesn't add a huge amount to the game in terms of complexity, but what it does add is more options, more stuff for you to do. And I like these new options because I think that's what the base game was kind of lacking. It just needed a few more options to get going. So what do you get? Well, first up, yes, you have got more characters. Now, you don't get these sleeves and the fancy sleeves. This is just my collector set. But you get another 30-odd adventurers that you can, 30-odd crew members that you can shove on your boat. And they just do the same sort of stuff as before. They will increase crew limits. You'll activate them. You can steal stuff from other opponents. You can, do more strength at various locations. It's basically more variety for what you already had, and more crew is always good, because that's kind of what the main crux of the game is, getting a crew and having your ship and then deciding whether they get killed off by Valkyries or not. It's a pretty straightforward addition. You just mix them in, no problem at all. So what's the new aspect? Well, most of it revolves around this board here. So this is a bolt-on that you shove at the bottom of the board here, and I use a playmat. So if you can get the playmat for this game, I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to get the expansions. But if you're sticking with the boards, fine. You basically bolt this on the bottom of the board, and it adds a new location called the Mead Hall. And essentially what it does is that it sort of does twofold, really. Firstly, it's another way to get more adventurers, because free adventurers will be on there. Why do I keep calling them adventurers? Crew, you know what I mean, free crew members. And they go on here, and you can go to the Mead Hall and get one of them. So it's a way to get a specific crew member that you're looking for, rather than trust luck of the draw from the deck at the other location. But on top of this, you've also got the mead that you can collect. This new resource mead, these big chunky orange like pint glasses or whatever, so effectively alcohol, and what you can use this for is a temporary boost in combat. So when you go into, say, the fortress and you want to go beat it up, and let's say I'm looking at it here, I need at least 22 strength in order to get the minimum threshold. It's like, well, my crew members can get me to, 14, and then I roll 2 dice, I probably am going to need a little bit more than that. What you can do with this is for every mead you spend, you get +1 to your strength value. For that combat only, so it's a temporary boost. Imagine that, this is this setting with like the Viking style things. It kind of makes pure thematic sense, doesn't it? They get drunk before a battle, go in a massive berserker raid.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
They like more powerful than they were before, but then when the battle's over, it's like, it's like I'm drunk out of my head and I got a hangover. So it thematically works well. It's a nice simple addition. You get this mead when you go and get these particular crew members, but then some of the crew members, like I think there's one that's a bartender or something like that, can get you extra mead just for getting other cards. It's really cool, so I like using them a lot. And I must admit, I like hunting down this mead quite a lot as well. You don't have to go for mead, you might just get lots of armor and lots of really high strength crew members and get your strength that way. But I quite like the idea of getting drunk before a battle, it just works for me. So it's a nice simple resource addition and doesn't take a lot of explaining, but I really enjoy it. But there's another part of this board as well, the quests. You have got quest tiles that you can, oh sorry, actually no, on here there are some award tiles. And why do you get these awards for? Well, you get them for quests. Now, when you go to a location and you beat it up, like the monastery or the fortress or the harbours and that, in the base game nothing happened. It's like, right, there's an empty space, it's defunct for the whole game. Now what happens is that you draw a tile from a deck of the quest tiles and you put them on the board to replace it. Okay, cool, so it still has a use. They come in 3 different types, mainly just for the Art of Set collection, but the idea is that they have a strength value on them as well as a reward for doing it. So this one gives me a silver and a gold, 2 provisions, 2 gold, you know, pretty standard affair. And they require different levels of strength based on that. But what you do is when you go to the Mead Hall, you can instead brag about doing a quest, and what you do is that you have to discard crew members from your hand rather than your ship to match or exceed the strength value of the quest tile. So, for example, I've got to do this 5 here, and so I got to look at my hand and go, well, I could get rid of those, but let's see, I'll get rid of the adventurer and the gatekeeper. There you go. They've got 5 strength on them. They're gone. They're out of my hand. I get the quest tile. It goes in front of me. And what's the purpose of that? Well, you now have a separate little part of the player board here, which I didn't bring into view. And essentially, this gives you a place to store your crew members. So, okay, cool. It's a nice way to lay out your board. But you essentially get the quest tile. You'll put it on here. And, oh no, sorry. That's for the giving to the chieftain from before. What you'll do instead is that you will put the tile above your board and alongside the top. And as you get more and more, you get 1 point, 2 point, 4 point, 5 point, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It's basically, the more you can get, the more points you get. But if you can get 3 of the same type, then you get one of these award tiles, which can go on top of your board to add to the score as well. But these give you things like 4 mead, 2 victory points, a provision and a gold, 3 provisions. You know, they're basically like, oh, did you manage to get 3 of the sword quest tile? Great, well, take this as well. Not only does it add to your score going along there, but you get another bonus. It's just another cool thing in the game that you can aim for. Now, the only issue I do have with it is that unless you are really focused on it, it's probably not going to score you a ton by the end of the game. It's not something that you would just simply, you know, I mean, you can casually do it, but if you're going to casually do it, you're going to need to be able to do it efficiently. Chances are, if you're going for quest tiles, you're going for quite a lot of the quest tiles, but it's another path to victory that you can aim for, on top of already giving to the chieftain and just doing well on the main board, which, to be fair, you kind of need a little bit of that in order to do well at this game. But the quest tiles are a pretty simple addition. In fact, the only hard bit about them is remembering to put one out whenever you kill off a location on the board. That's usually the first thing I get wrong. But other than that, pretty straightforward. You just go to this location, discard cards in your hand, boom, that's it. Nice and simple. Do the quest. Okay, not the most thematic addition that you can possibly get. You're basically just cashing in cards and then getting set collection. But, I'm going to say, it's easy. And that's kind of it, really, for Hall of Heroes. So it doesn't sound like it adds a lot, but I still think that this is the best expansion, and I still think this is probably the must of the 2 expansions to get. Because I think the base game just lacks a little bit of variety in the options that you can do. This adds more variety. You have got more cards for the crew. Great. You have got an extra resource to play with. You've got an extra path to victory to aim for. You've got another way of getting crew members. Other than that, that's kind of all it does, so it's a nice simple addition to the game. In fact, I see no reason why you couldn't teach this with the base game. Now, I'm a little bit biased on that because, to be honest, because I think, and we'll get onto this when I do the next expansion video, I think both expansions together make Raiders of the North Sea one that I want in my collection to pimp up in a collector's version. I will teach this game with both expansions included, full stop. But if you're kind of like doing this as a progressive thing, you know, you're just like one bit at a time, let's take it slow, then Hall of Heroes is definitely a fine one to get. And I reckon you won't have trouble teaching this because they're in the game, done. Mead, temporary strength bonus, easy. Quest tiles, probably the main thing you need to explain, but again, not that difficult really. And through the magic of video editing and video files being corrupted, I'll wrap this review up and just take it as a sign, really. So that's it for me on this review for Halls of Heroes. Definitely the expansion to get if you are starting out with Raiders of the North Sea. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to check out the code in the description for the 5% discount code off Zatu.co.uk. If Raiders of the North Sea is on your list of potential buys, then check out Zatu, see if they've got it in stock, and consider saving a few pounds here and there. Take care, and remember, as always, it's only a game. Bye for now.